this meeting. We'll need to accept that. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the room there if you have to click on got it, somebody. But I'm going to record this meeting and also post this up. So the primary objective of our meeting today is just to give you an overview of the course, the syllabus, some of my thoughts on how you should structure your study for Accounting 211, 111, and then I'll open it up to any questions, and we may actually be able to adjourn early. We have a fairly small group, so we can sort of deal with questions on a one-by-one basis as we go through. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the syllabus for this class, which is located in e-learning, and I'm going to put my e-learning in student mode, so it kind of looks to you as I go through the screen how you see it. Okay, and you can see here that the syllabus, and if you downloaded that earlier, I apologize, you probably want to download it again because I did make one minor change. I added some information just minutes ago. So if you previously downloaded it, you may want to either now or another time re-download it so that you can look at it. Okay. You can see my office hours are located right here. This is the Zoom link. They will be on Thursday afternoons from 12 to 1:30. I'm pretty flexible though, guys. If there's another time that you'd like to meet, just reach out to me. I'm going to put my contact information up in a second. Shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email, and we can set up another time to meet. Okay. Now I'm not going to click on this. You will be able to click on this and open up this Word file. I've already opened it, and so you can see here the syllabus for our class. Okay. And we're not in summer 2022. Always has to be something that I didn't update. We're in fall 2022. Okay, that should be fall 2022. And the class is obviously online. Okay, and you can see the first day of class was Sunday. Our last day, I think that's a Friday, will be the 17th. But you'll see in the syllabus, I have laid out week by week the information that you should be looking at. You can see my contact information. Again, I have my office hours. You can see the email. You can see the phone number. You can text that number as well. You can call it. Sometimes students will email me a question or text me a question about something specific in the material, and I may say, hey, call me, because I believe that a conversation is a better way of answering some of that. But all of those are ways to allow you to, get a hold of me. Course description, prerequisite is 100B. So at this point, you should have gone through the 2 intermediate classes and you've understood something about financial reporting. What we're doing at this class now is looking at it from the standpoint not of the preparer, which is what we're looking at in 100A, 100B, but now what would it look like to a third-party auditor that is coming in and seeing that the entity has prepared those financial statements in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles. So to do that, we will need to understand something about generally accepted auditing standards. And we're going to start talking about those in our first lecture, chapter 1, going through and understanding what sort of evidence will be gathered to allow an auditor. And towards the end of the class, we will actually talk about the reporting requirements to allow an auditor to express an opinion on financial statements that will then be used by investors and creditors to make their various decisions. Maybe government entities will be looking at these statements, but the audit function adds reliability to those financial statements because a third party, and in the United States, you would be licensed by one of the states, a licensed CPA, certified public accountant, has come in and looked at those financial statements and has rendered a third party independent opinion on those statements. So that process is really what we're looking at. And the outcome would be that you would understand the process that I just described, the standards associated with that, the reporting standards, and the standards that are used to actually conduct audits of financial statements. The course material, And the textbook is optional, okay? You do not have to acquire this textbook. This is the URL. I'm going to ask you to hold off for a day or so here before you try to register for the course using this URL, because I have to move around some registration dates, okay? But that is where you will acquire the book if you want to. It is not mandatory. Now, here's what I recommend. That you go ahead, you register using this URL. Please don't do it tonight, maybe do it tomorrow sometime. And what you'll do is you'll provide this URL, you'll go to McGraw-Hill Connect. They give you a 2-week trial period. During that 2-week trial period, there's no charge. Don't give them your credit card information. You will have to give them your email, but they give you a 2-week trial period. Take advantage of that 2-week trial period. See if you believe the material is helpful for you. And if it is, then after that 2 weeks, they'll ask you to give them your credit card information. You give them your credit card information and you can acquire the material and it'll be available for you for this course. It is not required, it is optional. You do not have to get this. Some students find it helpful. Others say, John, I'm fine looking at what you go through with us in the lectures, what you give us in terms of a practice midterm, and I feel comfortable using that material to prepare for the class and the exams and that sort of thing. Question on that? That material is optional. You do not have to acquire that, okay? But give me a day or so. I need to change some registration dates on that, I realize. Otherwise, it's not going to let you get the 2-week trial period. We don't want that. So I'm going to fudge the dates a little bit so that you get that 2-week trial period. You can see information about the tutoring and disability, the wellness resource. I'm going to let you look at those on your own. If you have any questions about how to access those, please reach out to me. And you can reach out to me, I say, by phone. And I think the reason I'm putting that there is I feel sometimes students are shy to speak to anyone these days. No one seems to want to talk on the phone anymore. I always tell my students, hey, if they invented the voice telephone after they invented text, everybody would be using the phone because they say you can actually talk to the person. It's great, right? But if it's something quick, a text may be good, but don't be shy to give me a call and we can talk, okay? I'm going to talk about how to be successful in this class here as we go through the information in Canvas, in e-learning here in a couple of seconds, okay? Grading policy, most of it is examinations. I will be providing you a video of a guest speaker, and I am going to ask you to prepare a 3-page paper in which you will respond to specific questions about that guest speaker. Most likely that guest speaker will be a partner from the Big Four accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. This partner has taken several companies public. And I think it adds a practical discussion as to how the information in our financial reports and our audit reports will actually be used, betting where maybe a company is going and going to be going public. His name is Danny Wallace, and he's taken some companies that you're probably familiar with, Lyft and some other companies, maybe Uber. I think he's taken those companies public, and so he can give us more of a practical, less theoretical discussion. Obviously, if you are here, you understand the importance of coming to class. We only have 2 class meetings, September 7th and December 7th. I guess 2 days that will live in infamy for us here now. And that I kind of came on a little stronger and said, you have to come to these classes at first, because that was my understanding as to how the course worked. It looks like we're a little bit more flexible in terms of how you attend, either by Zoom or watching the video or coming to campus. And some of the requirements are spelled out in specific funding entities, such as the Department of Veteran Affairs. I am not here to advise you on what the specific requirements are for whatever program that may require you to come to campus or attend these live lectures. So if you don't know, please reach out to your counselor. For VA folks, I've given you an email there that you can reach out to as well. So just make sure you know the requirements and, you know, act accordingly with those requirements, okay? I thought that everyone had to come to both of these sessions, either on Zoom or live, but I guess I'm not right on that. That's why I'm recording this and I'll post it, okay? Final grades will come, as I've said, mostly through the examinations and the guest speaker. In terms of discussion points, I tend to give these discussion points to everyone. What could happen is if I don't see you ever logging into the portal, I may send you an email and say, hey, what's going on? You're not logging into the portal. Are you following the material? You're watching the lectures. And sometimes I'll get students that will just ignore that or not respond to that. And that's when I start questioning, well, have you earned these discussion points? Otherwise, as long as I'm seeing you logging in pretty much weekly, you know, I can see that you've spent some time with the material, then I'm going to be awarding you those discussion points. Is there a question on that? That's sort of more the honor system than anything. But again, you know, if I see that someone has gone completely dormant, then I'll start emailing you and saying, hey, what's going on? And I might mention these discussion points to you, but I don't think that'll be the case. Okay, good. You can see the grading. Most of my students live up here. I am of the opinion that you got to try really hard to fall into these lower parts, because what I do in the lectures is I explain to you the concept. I tell you what I want you to know. I show you an example of how I'm going to test you on that material. And then you could, well, then I will also give you practice midterms that will be very, very similar to the actual midterm, the actual final. And then you will see that some of those questions in McGraw-Hill are also very, very similar to the ones that I'm going to be giving you on the exam. And if you choose to purchase that information, you will see that the exams are very, very similar. I'm not here to throw surprises at you. I'm not here to give you something that is tricky or weird or different from how we've studied it. I'm going to teach it to you the way I want you to understand it. I'm going to test you in the manner that I think you need to understand it. Now I kind of skipped and didn't talk about my background, so let me kind of go back. Where is that? Did I write that up anywhere? Somewhere. I thought I had my background here. Maybe I didn't want to put you to sleep, so I didn't put it in here. Okay, so maybe I'll tell it to you verbally. Hey, there's a section I'm supposed to tell you. Oh, here it is. Okay, so instructor bio. Okay, so let me just talk to you a little bit about that. And at this stage of my life, it is easier for me to go chronologically and try to kind of weave it into some sort of, you know, something other than just a bunch of random facts flying at you. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you chronologically. So I graduated from Cal State Hayward, which was then Cal State East Bay. And I interviewed with all eight, I should say, of what was then the Big Eight. Now it's the Big Four. Some people say the Final Four. All eight of the Big Eight CPA firms, plus some other ones. And it went through the round of interviews twice. And so I got 16 rejection letters from all for 8 of the Big Eight twice. So that's 16 rejection letters. And so, you know, in the last couple of interviews, one of the guys says, well, look at you. Believe it or not, I had long hair at the time. You got long hair. You're sitting here. You cross your arms. Like talking this, you're kind of sitting Hayward style in the chair here. You're not walking the walk. You're not talking the talk. That's what's hurting you in these interviews. So I went to the Career Planning Placement Center and said, hey, you know, I have already passed the CPA exam. So I took the Becker Review course, passed the CPA exam while I was still in college, before I was actually working. I've already have finished the CPA exam. My GPA is pretty good, but they're telling me, you know, I'm not looking good enough. I'm not handsome. I'm not cute enough to work for a CPA firm, I guess. So he says, well, have you thought about the government? I don't want to work for the government. But I looked around and found that there was an agency called the Government Accountability Office. GAO is the auditing and investigating arm of the US Congress. And so I interviewed with them and got the chance to work for the GAO. So I spent about 26 years with the GAO doing first financial statement audit. That is how I got the experience for my CPA. I am a California CPA. I got that experience by working for the GAO, doing financial statement audit. And then I moved over to program audit, where I looked at the operations of various federal agencies, such as the Department of Housing and Urban Development, did some work at looking at banking regulators, et cetera. So I spent 26 years doing that. Around 1995, though. So I started there in 1988, retired in 2014, because that counts for 26 years. But around 1995, started teaching the CPA exam. So I've been doing that for almost 30 years now, teaching folks how to pass the CPA exam. So I've done that for Becker CPA Review. You may have heard of them. And then I started teaching at Golden Gate in 2000 as an adjunct, but now I'm involved as the director of the CPA Applied program. So we have 4 classes here at GGU that line up with the 4 parts of the CPA exam. So this fall, I'm teaching the audit and the BEC class. In the spring, I'll teach FAR, and we will have another instructor, potentially Alice Jeong, teaching the regulations. So every term we offer 2 of the 4 classes that align with the CPA exam. And the objective of those classes, obviously, is to prepare you for the CPA exam. What's nice about it is you get 12 units that you can apply towards your bachelor's. And you can also take those same 12 units and apply them towards your master's. And of course, you are getting the CPA exam out of the way. And this year, at my recommendation and working with one of the members of the California State Board of Accountancy, they changed the law so that now you can take the exam before you've met the requirements. So you can start taking exams 6 months ahead of actually meeting the requirements. So with that, and the way we've structured our program is a good way to be completing the bachelor's as you're then studying for, taking and passing part of the CPA exam. And then you've also banked 12 units towards your master's degree. So I think it's a pretty, I'm not objective, obviously I'm the director of the program, but I think it's a pretty decent program. So I've been doing that here at Golden Gate for the last, we've been doing that. I've been here now in this role for the last 5 years. I also been teaching in various capacities at GGU since 2000. I retired from the GAO in 2014 and pursued teaching full-time. Taught at UC Berkeley, San Francisco State, and San Jose State. I have now retired from the state, so I'm drawing a federal pension and a state pension. And then I keep teaching both at Stanford University, where I teach an introduction to financial accounting to non-accounting majors, both in the School of Engineering and the School of Medicine. And then, of course, what I've just mentioned at GGU. I'm also somewhat still involved in teaching continuing professional education classes. After you get your CPA, you will need to maintain that license by getting 80 continuing professional education units every 2 years, with no less than 20 occurring in any 1 year. And if you're involved in government audits of government entities or entities that receive federal financial assistance, such as not-for-profits, then you would need 24 of those CPE to be government CPE. So I was involved in developing and being the sort of, talking head on the recording courses for that. As the years go by, they kind of like to have people with better hair teach those classes. And so I've noticed that over the years, they brought other folks that come in, and I'm becoming less and less. At first, I was the only guy you saw for those videos, but now I'm noticing there's just a few older videos left of my younger days teaching those classes, but I'm still somewhat involved. Any questions about the syllabus at this point?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
although I'm not Gracie Quinn, I'm not sure how that, in fact, that's my first question is, are you taking attendance for, for us who are in the classroom who need to meet VA requirements so that it's clear?
I will take a picture of the screen here in a minute. And that way I will be able to, but I won't know who's who, huh?
Take our names, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can take a picture of the screen for the names of the people that are here that I see on the screen if there's a question at some point. But for the other folks, why don't you go ahead and call out for the ones in the class, because obviously I can't see your name. Who's here?
Well, I'll start. My name's Richard Bazzini. I should be on your list there.
Okay.
I'm Avalon Wright.
Okay. Anyone else?
Roseman.
Say it again.
Roseman.
Rosemary?
Roseman.
Roseman.
Rosemary, last name?
Wangare. Roseman.
Okay, can you spell it for me? Because we're getting some interference here.
Yeah. R-O-Z-M-I-N.
One more time.
R-O-Z-M-I-N.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, John, it's Christian Tougeau. My name is showing up on the screen.
Okay. Okay, great. And I'm going to take a picture of the screen. So in a second. So if there is any question, if someone says, hey, can you prove it? Reach out to me and I'll send you an email. Okay.
Professor, will there be any homework assignment or just the exam and the write-up?
Just the exam and the write-up in terms of deliverable product.
Okay.
But there will be assignments in McGraw-Hill Connect that I'm going to recommend, but maybe say starting tomorrow or so. Take a look at those, see if you think they're helpful. You can use them, you won't get any points from them, but some students find them helpful for studying for the exams and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I make the book optional, to be honest with you, because I often find that, these textbooks are out to, they're for-profit entities. Let me just put it that way. Okay. And so I try to save my students. I'm not here to, be the revenue generator for McGraw-Hill, So if you think it's useful, I think that you're, mature enough to decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead, as opposed to me saying, well, boys and girls, you got to buy this book. And, meanwhile, McGraw-Hill stock price goes up.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Okay. You can see the week by week. Okay. And you could see the midterm date. Now, guys, I'm going to speak frankly with you. Okay. If there's one thing that drives me nuts is missing the exam. When a student misses the exam, I go from kind of a nice guy to an asshole. Okay, let me just say, because I just can't, I don't know what to do with that. I get this, oh, I missed the exam, open it back up for me, and I'm kind of like, anything else? You want me to make you a sandwich while I'm doing that? I mean, this is the date, the week for the exam. Okay, it'll open, and let's just look at e-learning here for a second. For example, the information for midterm 1. It'll open on October 9th at 12 a.m. That's midnight. Okay, that is October 9th is a Sunday night. Now, I don't expect you, okay, to be up at midnight on Sunday night, October 9th, to take that exam. Okay, what I expect you is to select a day between October 9th and October 15th, and it closes on Saturday, October 15th at 11:59. Pick a 3-hour time that's suitable for you, into which you will take, and it'll be 20 multiple choice questions, and it'll be one objective type question, probably a matching type question. Okay, and those will be the exams, and they will open and they will stay open during that window of time. Once you start the exam, you have 3 hours to complete it. Don't click on the exam until you are ready to begin taking the exam. Once you start it, that 3-hour clock runs on you and you can't stop it. It'll run and then you're going to be in trouble. So it's open book, open note. Any material that I have given you in this class or that you have purchased through McGraw-Hill Connect is available for the exam. Okay, so it's open book, open note to work 20 multiple choice questions, 1 objective format questions, 3 hours is plenty of time to work those questions. And I give you a practice midterm, okay, that is very similar to what the actual midterm looks like. And let me go ahead and open that because I think that's probably useful information for us right now, because it gives you a sense as to how these exams will look. Okay, so you can see, and of course, the real exam, haha, won't have the answer pointed to it. Okay, here I've given you the answer, but this is what the actual exam will look like. There will be multiple choice questions. I think I have extra multiple choice questions in this one for extra batting practice. Okay, so you can see there's 29 instead of 20, and then there'll be a matching type question like this. Okay, if you master the material that's in this practice exam, if you've messed around with the McGraw-Hill Connect material, if you've watched the lectures and you've seen the questions that I go through and talk through on the video recorded lectures, there is no reason why you shouldn't be hovering up around 100% on these exams.
Professor, so for the people who've had you before, are you also going to do the midterm review lecture?
I believe I have those recorded, I think.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I just found those to be really helpful and kind of dial you in the right area before.
Yeah, would you have me for 100B or something? I think
yeah, intermediate.
yeah, I think I did those for this. I can't remember now because I had an actually live control group when I recorded those lectures. So it was a little different than what you see in 100B where I'm kind of sitting here talking to myself. So I'll take a look though. I'm not sure if I have those or not. If not, you know, we can maybe do like a one-off session, like something like this, because we have the link anyway, where you guys can come in and do it. I'm not too fond of talking to myself. I mean, I do that. You get to an age when you live by yourself where you find yourself hollering at the TV half the time, but I don't want to do it alone. So if we get to that point and you say, hey, I'd really like to have maybe the Wednesday before the midterm, and I get, you know, folks reaching out to me for that, how about we do that? I'll have a live session with you where we'll do it. As long as you guys are in, you don't have to come to class, you can do it via Zoom, but as long as you guys are, you know, feeling that it's worth the hassle, then I'm willing to come and talk to you, but I don't want to do it by myself. So there. Question? So maybe what we would do if you request it is I'd go through this file with you and we would just talk through each one. Maybe we do something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mark it up.
That sounds really
Yeah.
good.
Okay, if you guys want to do that, you know, as you get closer, because after we watch the lectures, you may say, I've heard enough of this guy's voice. And one more, you know, every time I hear John Lord's voice, I want to, you know, hurl, then maybe you won't want to do it. And that'll save me. I'll get to the bar early. I mean, I'll get to bed early on that Wednesday. Okay. Okay, that is the syllabus. Let me go back to e-learning, and I have this weird talent for closing e-learning when I don't want to.
Did I see something in your syllabus about extra credit for writing up other guest speakers? Will there be an option to watch more than one guest speaker?
You know, did I say that?
I can't remember where I read it. I thought I read it in one of your, it might have
I've done
been,
that before.
it might have been in the syllabus for last semester. Which
Well, I did do, What is Accounting 378 doing here? What is this?
Like other live, where they have like a live person
Oh.
and he's done that, yeah.
Yeah, and I may do that again. You know, I will give extra credit for different things. I'm a big believer that you should be involved in the campus organizations. I'm the faculty advisor for Ascend, which is a Pan-Asian business association, and we have a chapter here at GGU. There's also the Tax and Accounting Club, and they both have the same president right now, so they're doing joint events. So what I probably will do, Richard, is give you extra credit maybe for attendance of those kind of things, and those are also on Zoom. And so what I typically ask folks to do for that is take a picture of themselves, their name on the screen at that meeting, and submit that for extra credit. So why don't we do that? Okay, so let's as those meetings are coming up here in the next weeks, I'll be giving you the information for those, and then you may want to start to bank some extra credit that way. I typically give 5 points or something. Okay. But what I don't do is I don't let you make up points on missed assignments with those. So you can't say, well, look, we had these little 5-point things and I went to them, so I'm not going to turn in the guest speaker. That I won't do. Okay, but I will, assuming you do the assignments and make a good, solid attempt at them, then I'll give you extra credit points for probably, let's do for attendance for these different things. I think is a good thing as we start to emerge, I guess, from whatever the apocalypse is hitting us. At this point, I guess God will say COVID, but I feel like every time I turn on the TV, it's something else. But anyway.
Right. Well, because otherwise, most of the points are coming from the test. It's 300 points and there's 3 tests, 2 midterms and a final. Is that correct?
100 points each exam. Yes. So the final is actually, it's not comprehensive or whatever they call that, cumulative comprehensive. It is actually a glorified third midterm, and that we call it the final, but it only covers those back chapters that we would have studied since the midterm 2. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit heavy. I'm an exam-centric instructor, because accounting education is all about exams. I mean, your next step after you complete your degree here at the university is probably going to get some sort of professional certification in which they will test you to see if you have come out with the requisite knowledge. And so I'm not a believer that I should be giving you grade that doesn't reflect your ability to take that next academic step. That's not to say that I will not be trying to speak to you practically about some of this, because I was an auditor for 26 years with the federal government. So when you watch the lectures, you will hear a lot of examples of actual financial statement audits that I've been on in which we've applied the concept. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm just purely theoretical academic here, but by the same token, we do have an academic an academic preparation that we have to do to allow you to go into the profession and start taking the professional exams and stuff. So I tend to focus on exams. I'm of the opinion that the material that you will see in this class will be a good foundation for you to be able to pass the auditing section of the CPA exam. So the CPA exam is 4 parts. There is an auditing section, which aligns very closely with this class. FAR, financial accounting and reporting, aligns with intermediate and advanced. And then regulation is tax and business law. And then business environment and concepts basically are other parts of your business degrees, such as economics, finance, and they do bring in some managerial accounting as well. So this class will set you up nicely for your prep for the auditing section of the CPA exam. So that's why I take an examination approach. You know, I have some folks say, well, don't give the students exams. If you're, if you are a non-accounting major, I probably wouldn't hit you with these exams. My non-accounting majors, I don't make them take as many exams and I let them learn through other projects. Because they're not accounting majors. They're not going anywhere with this information, really. They're just going to be using it in a different discipline. I expect you guys to be experts at this stuff. And the way I test that is through these exams. Question?
This is my professor. This is my first semester in a while. What if you have questions during the recorded videos? How do you approach that?
You would have to write those down, I guess, and then reach out to me and say, hey, I was watching. Probably the good thing to do, good thing to do would be to note the counter. So let me go through the e-learning with you here. Let's see if I can do it without messing it up. I seem to always close it. I never seem to be able to get that to my e-learning without this. Okay, there it is. Okay, so what you'll see is modules, and guys, I removed the dates, okay, but you have the week that corresponds to the chapter on the syllabus. So for example, this week you should be doing chapter 1. So don't worry that it says week 3 here, because I used up some modules to post other information, okay? And so you know, week 1, we're going through the syllabus. I mentioned the office hour. Week 2, it says midterm 1, but that won't open until later. So don't worry about the week designation, okay? You will be in chapter 1 this week, week 1. There's the slides. I recommend that you download the slides, have them available either on your tablet or if you want to in hard copy, and you'll see that I mark them up as I go along. So you probably would want to follow and make your own notes and whatnot on the slides is what I recommend. Now, let's say you're looking at the lecture video. Now, guys, this is getting a little annoying because the audio is going to be cutting in here in a minute. So as you're looking
I
at
was thinking
this,
that there actually is a single
Okay.
email that I've written over the last few months without
Let me
Grammarly. Grammarly is a digital writing.
let me stop her for a second. I've posted these on YouTube, and YouTube has decided to make money off of my videos without giving me any of the money. So I'm not getting, I am not monetizing this, okay? So these videos are posted there. Thank you very much. Okay, and for this particular lecture last year, I guess I was outside. I hear birds chirping, okay, but you can go ahead and you'll watch it. Now, let's say you're looking and you're saying, well, John, I'm looking at your video and you talk about something on 8/19 and I don't understand what that is. That would be a good thing to send me an email on, tell me the slide number. I can take a look at that and get back to you and say, well, what I mean is, or hey, give me a call and we can talk through that.
Thank
It's an
you.
online course, guys. So I think that would be the best way to do that.
Okay.
Okay, but that's what I do. I go through, let's see. It is material, okay? And we'll set our materiality thresholds and we'll look at that from a dollar standpoint, but you always have to keep in your mind, and I think that's like chapter 3, but you always have to keep in mind that, hey, there is this qualitative aspect to materiality as well, okay? Audit risk is the risk that opinion okay, so that's how it works, okay? And I think I'm wearing that same shirt, which is embarrassing. Okay, so anyway, that is basically what'll happen week to week. You watch the lecture, okay? And in the lecture, there will be embedded example questions. And then I think for the early on going anyway, you should go ahead and you should go and look at the McGraw-Hill material associated with chapter 1, see if you think it's helpful, go ahead and acquire it. If not, just go forward with the slides, the lectures, and then the practice exams that I've already shown you are probably useful as well. Question?
And then when we're doing the midterms, they're open book and we can use all that stuff as reference while we're taking during that 3-hour window that we're taking the test.
Correct. The only thing that I prohibit you from doing in terms of, the material while you're taking the midterms is you can't call another classmate and say, what'd you get for number 15, right? And you can't use, there's these websites like called Chug or Chegg or something like that, that students that have formerly been in my class upload information as the answers to the exam or something. Don't use those. I have ways of figuring out that you've done that. So, it shouldn't be tough if you're preparing correctly, just don't cheat. That's my main thing. Do your own work. But yes, those slides, those practice exams, and the if you acquire the McGraw-Hill material, the one that I've provided you the URL for, then you can use any of that material. Question? Okay, I'm not here to mess up anyone's GPA. I don't know what, they say about me on Rate My Professor because I don't look anymore. So if there's anything on there that says, he's the till of the hund or whatever, that it generally happens when I feel that somebody is not really trying to, spend the requisite time with the material to do a good job in the class. Outside of that, I will work with you to, hopefully help you to get a nice grade out of this class so that you can, get a nice, the recruiters are coming to campus, they're looking for you, so it'd be nice to see you get an opportunity with one of those companies. We're bringing in a lot of the big 4 companies. I think that we should probably reach out though to in some of the other CPA firms. I'm going to reach out to the city and county of San Francisco and see if they want to come and talk about their 1649 program. Their 1649 internship program is a great way to get into working for the city and county of San Francisco. Once you get recruited into that program, although you do have to take an exam, which is a combination of intermediate accounting, governmental accounting, and the auditing stuff that we're talking about, more towards governmental and their intermediate accounting. Studying for the FAR part of the CPA exam would probably be a good way to do well on that exam. You do well on that exam, you get hired into the 1649 internship program, and you pretty much have to, throw up on your boss not to have that convert into a full-time position. And then you move up and you will, ultimately be able to draw a pension off of that work. And their pensions are pretty generous. I think their pensions go up to something like 70% of your pay when you retire is paid out in a pension, which is these days unheard of. And you get to, I should say unheard of because they do it, but then you also get to understand something about the city that you live in, work in, go to school in, or, are very close to, the main city or one of the main cities in your area. Santa Clara County has a lot of positions too, city of San Jose. So maybe I can get some of those folks to come in and talk to us about their opportunities. Or at
How
least,
about the accountability office? Is there still for somebody like me that's got 12 years in the military, could I do another 8 or 10 years and then get a pension that way?
yeah, absolutely. Federal service counts if you go into civilian, agency in the federal government, then you get credit for your federal service. When I worked for the GAO, your military service, when I worked for the GAO, I had colleagues that were Vietnam War vets, and they had, gotten drafted. Back when they had the draft, they got drafted when they were 18, lived to tell about it. Came out, at 21, 22 years old, went to college, on the VA and then started working for the GAO. And some of those guys retired at what I consider a fairly young age, 55. And they had, 40 years of federal service because they got credit for the time that they were in the military. So yeah, it's a pretty good gig. And the other thing that happens is there is a veteran preference for hiring into the civilian, parts of the federal government. Unfortunately, I have seen, and it pisses me off, frankly, what some agencies do is they skirt around that by converting their interns into full-time hires and not giving the VA preference to interns, because I don't think it applies to interns. So sometimes I feel they circumvent that a little bit by doing that, which is a little, I believe it's a little ageist. They do it so that they don't have to hire maybe sometimes a military person is a little older, frankly, because they've had another service before they started going back to school and coming out. But the agencies do that sometimes. I think there'd be an interesting case there. You can't discriminate accidentally. That's not the law. There's nothing in the law that says, well, we didn't mean to discriminate, we did it accidentally. There's something called patterns and practices that it would be an interesting case someday to see if somebody wanted to challenge that. Anyway, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. Question?
Are you planning to have any group sessions? Any?
Other than what we've talked about in that potential midterm, oh, by the way, we would do it on a Wednesday if we did it, because I have class on Tuesday, Thursday nights at GGU, so I can't do it on Tuesday, Thursdays, and I don't want to do it on Monday because this is the first time in about 35 years or something stupid like that, maybe 30 years, that I'm going to get to watch Monday Night Football on a regular scheduled basis, because I spent all those years teaching CPA review on Monday nights while I was working for the federal government. And then when I retired, I had classes it was typically on San Jose State on Monday nights. So I won't do them on Monday nights. I will do them on Wednesday nights if you guys tell me you want to. Other than that, I'm not going to be setting up groups. You're more than welcome to use this link, in an appropriate manner to,
Like a discussion forum or something?
if you want to. I mean, you all can get into it. You can all reach out to each other and say, hey, I'd like, anybody want to do this? And if you do, you can use this Zoom link. I don't want to hear anything about somebody was, doing a funny call with their significant other or something on here, but assuming you guys are actually.
General.
Yeah, is there a way to add a discussion like on the GGU thing, but without like an open and close date? I've had that for classes.
Just so that students can communicate with each other
Yeah.
somehow.
About what? If you don't have each other's,
How great you
How
are.
about you?
you don't have each other's emails?
No.
Oh, okay.
When you send an email, it goes out to all of us, but I don't think it includes a list of the other recipients.
I see. So you don't have a means of communicating with each other?
No,
Yes or no?
no,
No,
we do not.
Yeah, nothing.
yes.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put up a discussion board, okay? And you guys can arrange however you see fit there to get together. Does that sound okay? Discussion in that
Thank
way.
you.
What I don't want to do, this is why I hesitate on it.
Mhm.
And this is what I don't like about discussion. You're still learning and you put out there blah, 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 and it ain't right. And then I have to come in behind and correct that.
Oh, that's
And then once I come in and behind and correct it, then that effectively ends the discussion. And I'm just not down with that. I'm not, I don't feel like being a discussion cop, Gestapo here, So let's just make the deal that you'll use that discussion form to say, hey, everyone, this is, this is whoever, this is Sheila. I'm gonna be on the Zoom portal Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Anybody care to join? Please join me. And then you log in. And if there's someone else there, that's great. If there's no one else there, I guess you realize that nobody wanted to talk to you. I don't know. If you want to use it that way, yeah, I'll put up a discussion for that. Just try to stay away from, going off on, tangents about different things in the material. That's what I'd like to avoid. Anything else? I'm not going to do a lecture tonight, guys. The chapter 1 lecture is there, so this is your chance to ask about the kinds of things that we're talking about, structure of the course, that sort of thing. Okay, guys, well, if there's nothing else, then I'm going to go ahead and adjourn. Please do not try to access the McGraw-Hill portal until sometime, let's say close of business tomorrow. That should be set for you. Okay, and you can take a look and make a decision if you want to acquire that material or not. I would go ahead and take advantage of the 2-week trial period before you give them your credit card information. If you like the material, then go ahead and give it to them when they ask you for it. And if not, let it expire, let the trial period expire, and then just go forward with the material I've shown you. Question?
You gonna dust off the Raiders t-shirt for this weekend?
Did I wear, so I was wearing Raider shirts in some of those videos. I think I wore that every video. Yeah, I will watch the game. I'm just not sure where I'm gonna watch it yet. I'm either gonna watch it at home or I actually found an outdoor bar in Danville. I'm in Hayward. I'm born and raised in Hayward. I still live in Hayward. I haven't gone very far. So I like to go down the 680 corridor every now and then and hang out. And I found an outdoor sports bar that looks pretty nice. So I keep picturing myself sitting out there. So I'll either watch it here at home or maybe I'll make that trek out there. I'm not sure, but I would definitely watch it. I have my fantasy football team, and I have the 49ers defense, and I have Trey Lance as my quarterback. So I text my 49er friends last night and says, looks like I'm a 49er fan this year. Of course, thought that was, they got no end of pleasure out of that. So we'll see. Of course, I got back at him and said, should I draft Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup just in case? And then I texted him back, said, sorry, Kyle Shanahan got a hold of my phone. So anyway, if you're not a football fan, it's like kind of like telling a joke about plumbing devices to a convention of surgeons. So question?
You mentioned something about the Tax and Accounting Club earlier, that you were going to post some info on that there's meetings that they have.
Yeah, I will. They are going to have they'll have their welcome night. So I'll post something up both for Ascend and the Tax and Accounting Club. And yeah, I don't know what the membership dues is for the Tax and Accounting Club. For Ascend, I think it's a $25 membership fee. However, I was able to secure a donation from a GGU alum to fund different activities of the Ascend group. And I think what I'm going to suggest to the student board of directors is that they ask me to approve maybe some free memberships for that. I think would be a good use of that funding that the my former, you're getting old when your former students are, high-level controllers at, family trusts and are able to start contributing money back to the university. So one of my former students that is really the reason I'm at GGU. She was my CPA review student, and they were having a little bit of trouble finding folks to teach governmental accounting. And she told them, I've got the guy for you. And so she recommended me for that. And then that's how I started teaching at GGU. So that cycle has come full circle now, and that she's actually contributing to the Ascend chapter here.
What is the Ascend?
Asian.
Ascend is a Pan-Asian Business Association. Even though they say they're business, their discipline is largely accounting and finance. It is the largest, ethnic-based accounting association in the country. So you have Ascend, you have a group that I'm a former president of, which is the Association of Latino Professionals for America. And then you also have the National Association of Black Accountants, NABA, is an organization. When I came to GGU, I chose Ascend as a good ethnic-based association to create on campus, because they are larger, more organized, and they have strong professional backing of their organization, which is great. So when we have the welcome meetings and stuff, there will always be folks from the professional side that will come and talk to you about the advantages of Ascend and whatnot. That's not to say that you shouldn't reach out to those other organizations or the Tax and Accounting Club if you want, but I wanted to give folks more than just the one option, the Tax and Accounting Club. And so that's why I worked to establish Ascend. But anyone can join. There's no blood test or anything like that. I mean, anyone that wants to be involved in their organization can join.
I have one final question about the textbook. Is it the same, you mentioned McGraw, but I see we had a auditing and insurance book. Is that-
The one that's listed in the bookshop is
Yeah.
auditing and insurance services. It's
Yeah, because I ordered that.
I don't know what's on the bookshelf. It's the book that's called out in the syllabus.
That's the author is,
That's the one. That's the one that I'll give you the URL.
oh, perfect.
you can rent it for about $60 from
Yeah, but it's
a
good.
couple of places, Vital Source, but then it's all online.
But I feel like it's good.
We'd like to have the
it's good
book.
material.
I mean, I would really, reading auditing books, guys, is, okay, so I would really take advantage of that trial period. I would not jump.
Sure, you want to read an auditing book?
It's my first semester. that's
Reading
why.
an auditing book is sort of like, reading it's like reading, it's like reading the tax code without the entertainment factors included in the tax code. It's pretty dry. I think that, you're going to get more out of listening to the lectures, looking at the slides, and then seeing how we've applied that to the homework. So if I were you, if you felt that the optional homework in McGraw-Hill, if you feel like you're learning from doing that, then what you get is you get the ebook with that purchase. So when you purchase the ability to do the homework through Connect, you also get the ebook, and then you can use it more as a reference for a one-off if there's something you want to read up on more, as opposed to having this hard copy book now that, now if you're a person like me that likes to have a hard copy book, then you can get, I think they sell you that loose leaf version, which I hate the loose leaf versions. I like the bound version. but you could order that loose leaf version, I think, for $40. So, you know, take a look. You're well equipped with the, you know, experience now as a student to be able to make that decision for yourself.
Thank you.
Question?
All set.
Sometimes you can find a used book like on Amazon or something stupid like that for, you know, $20 or something. And as long as you don't mind, you know, looking at a book that somebody else highlighted in advance. You know, the only problem that I used to have with books that people highlight in advance is sometimes I'd get a book and the whole book would be highlighted. Or I would, you know, read what they highlighted and I'd be like, well, this person's the maniac. Why did they highlight this? This is not, you know, this is not relevant, and the highlighting becomes a distraction sometimes, but that's another option.
Mr. Ward,
Yes,
I've got a question. Did you get my name for attendance?
who's speaking?
Victor,
I did not, Victor. Anyone else? I have Richard, I have Avalon, I have Rose, now I have Victor. What's your last name, Victor?
Koval,
Spell that for me.
Koval.
Okay.
And then-
Anyone else in the room?
And then Sam Smith.
Sam Smith, okay. And guys, I know you came in a little bit later, but in case you didn't hear, please make sure you know what your attendance requirements are. I mean, you're obviously here live today. Make sure you know that, you know, this is sufficient, or if you need to come to another class, blah, blah. I'm expecting you to know that, okay? So if you need to reach out to the VA folks, I did provide, where I put that now? I did provide an email there in the updated syllabus, which I just updated in there somewhere.
The only problem I ran into was that my accounting 200A class is scheduled at exactly the same time, like it's going on right now. So I was in this dilemma where I couldn't be in two places at once, but your email yesterday solved that, saying that like for December 7th, I won't be able to be here in person. I'll have to watch the video.
Okay.
I'm on
Well,
the board now.
well,
to understand.
my email yesterday didn't say that you can only attend one. I think that's what you're thinking. I didn't say that in the email yesterday. You need to make
Watch the
sure.
video.
They don't want me to speak to specific requirements because they're thinking I'm going to screw it up. So make sure you, whatever game plan you have, your counselor is saying, yeah, you're good. Or if you don't have the counselor, you can reach out to that email you see on the screen.
I don't understand why all the accounting classes are on Wednesdays at 5, but
Well, I have an excuse, which is mine is
do it.
we couldn't do Monday because that was, I wanted the first class to be, but that was a holiday. And I want to watch Monday Night Football, but that's not the real reason. Monday was a holiday. I want the first class to be, and then I have class Tuesday, Thursday nights for Golden Gate. So that defaulted me to Wednesday. That's a good point. I don't know why we didn't look at, and I don't schedule the overall skip classes, why we didn't look and say we need to stagger these in a manner so that students can not have these conflicts. But we'll get through it, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little heavy-handed in that first email just because I didn't want folks falling into a trap where they missed a class and then somehow got screwed up with their benefit situation. So that's why I came on a little strong, just because I don't want you guys falling into a hole somewhere. Anything else?
All set.
All right, guys, well, good meeting you. I will post up this video, and then, as I said, look towards the end of the day tomorrow for the, you know, the URL is there, but please don't access it until later tomorrow, and then you'll be able to take advantage of that free trial period. Because I think if you try to do it now, they'll say you can't register for this class. The registration date is expired or something. And so I need to adjust that so that we can use it. And don't worry that it says summer 2022. It's still, this material is still relevant. Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Oh, we're good.
Have a good night.
Okay, guys. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.